Hello, my friends. I'm Rick. You're not. Civil War, man. Civil War, right? Jesus. You know how many people I've been hearing? Okay. Going back to when I was a young man, when I was a kid, I can honestly say there's been a portion of me my entire life that's believed that something like a civil war is going to happen again in America for sure, and more importantly, it'd be more likely to happen like the French Revolution, where the average working stiff in America gets so fed up with being so damn poor compared to our grandparents were. Then we wake up and we realize just why we're so fucking poor. And it's not because we need to live in some socialist, communist, puke ass freaking government system. It's just that we need our existing system to be fucking fair. In no fair world is it where some corporate executive gets paid 500 times the yearly salary of an average employee at their company. That's just bullshit. Companies that make hand over hand, fist after fist, and massive profits, even at a time when soaring prices are driving everybody into the bankruptcy, into poverty. Hello? When your damn coffee costs as much as your damn, the entire 12-pack of beer used to cost 10 years ago, that's a problem. And it's not necessarily because, oh, well, we have to pay the employees more to make this. Really? So you're charging us more to pay them more. But are you actually paying them more? Did you give them the benefit? Anyway, so we get all these people going on about this certain element of people in this country that are agitating for a civil war. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene nut is an example, because she absolutely has no freaking clue what any of that shit means. Really has no concept or clue what the hell that means. So what do you what did what exactly is it you Civil War pushing FOBs think you're going to get? You're going to get a contest between who's got more guns? I hate to break it to you, redneck conservative MAGA hillbilly motherfuckers. You don't own all the guns. The lion's share of the guns actually owned by the independents and the liberal nuts. I got some quite deeply rooted Democratic relatives that got a basement full of weapons. That true is a fact. Hey, no bullshit. And guy across the street, he don't give a fuck what, he don't vote for anything. He don't believe for anything, but he loves vote for his guns. Got a pile of guns too. And he ain't a Democrat nor Republican. He don't believe in voting at all. He just believes in having a lot of guns. Right? So like I said, what do you expect this is going to happen? Somehow you're going to have a traditional North versus the South, or the red versus the damn the blue states. Well, the original North versus South was pretty defined lines. There was a whole lot of unclaimed territory, but that's now claimed, obviously. But at the end of the day, you weren't broken up and spattered out like we are with the most recent election results for president. So the 2020 election results is yeah. So you're going to do what? It's just like Marjorie's, suggestion that maybe we should just agree to disagree and secede. Basically, you guys, we do our thing, and you guys, you do your thing, and then we'll pretend like we're still a country, but we won't do it. We won't help each other out. Hello, loser. First off, Miss Green, your state, you would not be in power then, would you? Because your state, last I checked, was Democrat. Yeah. Meanwhile, right? Meanwhile, the big chunk of the tax-paying states in this country, the ones who pay the most into the federal revenue, who then doles money out to the lesser, the poorer states of our country, are what color? What color are they? So collectively, those blue states up there, probably 80% of the federal budget comes from those blue states up there. And I'm not sure what the exact numbers are, but I'm pretty sure that probably over half, if not two-thirds of the red states that are listed on that map get government money from the feds. So they get money that's given to the feds from more wealthier states, blue states, mind you, and then doled out to the welfare states. So hey, we should get rid of that entitlement. We should get rid of that entitlement. All entitlements. When that would include cutting off the states from the. You want to save the federal tax dollars money? Stop giving it to the states. Oh, we can't ever do that. Why not? You want to basically shag the entire system anyway. So why not there? Why stop there? Why not just cut off all the states altogether and say you're on your own? You're still going to pay into the feds. We're still going to get our money because then we're going to use that for building, border walls and toadying up to, Putin and stuff like that. Oh, we wouldn't do that. Fuck, you wouldn't. Y'all been trying to do it for the last 5 damn years. I mean, just saying. So you get this idea of a civil war. So we're gonna have blood. What? We're gonna have skirmishing in the city streets. We're gonna have battle lines in the countryside. Yeah, both sides gonna turn out arms and march off to war and fight turf battles over ideology. Yeah. Let me know how that fucking turns out for you. Yeah, we seen how crappy a job y'all did with trying to overturn, the fair election. You did every freaking thing you could come in to figure out a way to overturn that election, and then try to prove you were right. Even though you damn well kept proving yourself wrong over and over and over again. That's the McCarthy way. Just keep poking away until people get tired of your bullshit and give in. Guess what? Ain't gonna happen this time, Chuckles. Meanwhile, the Civil War bullshit is just that. It's bullshit. It ain't gonna happen. More, if anything, you would have a dissolution of the states. At that point, you would have multiple small countries in this area. And you think that's a good idea? You really honestly think that's a good idea? Because there's some states that would have no problems stomping on the other states next to it. You get a couple of these really poor states to become extremely desperate when that federal money shuts off, when the spigot from Washington is turned off. I don't ever hear them talk about that. You want to talk about cutting the American workers' throats by eliminating the entitlement programs, getting rid of Medicaid and frickin' Social Security. Hey, you want to get rid of Social Security? Hey, you want to get rid of Medicare? Here's a thought. Replace them. We could replace them with universal health care where everybody has access to fucking health care and it doesn't bankrupt you. We could do that, couldn't we? We wouldn't need Medicare at that point because we would have universal health care. We would not need Medicare anymore. We could just fold what Medicare is into universal health care. Oh, but the big corporate, big pharma and the big hospital corporations and shit would just crap themselves. Well, why? Why is that a problem? You could have, you have your 2-tier systems. You have your multiple tier systems. People with money have access to a lot more stuff than people who don't have money. So the average person viewing this video, we're not on that rich side of the table. And the fact is, they're going to have access because money pays for things you can't afford to pay for when you're poor. Right? I mean, I had to have my toilet had to get unstopped last week. So Friday, I had a plumber come in and he plumbed my pipe, and it come back with a little mud on the end of his damn thing. That's implying that one of my pipes under the floor is broke. And because I have a slab, that means it's literally under the floor of the house, which means they'd have to cut a hole in my floor. First, they have to figure out where the fuck it is. I'm gonna do any of that stuff until I figure out how the hell I'm supposed to pay for it. I had to put a new furnace in last winter, and I still got 2 more years plus to pay on that. And I got a van payment. So between the two of them, my excess cash, I don't have it. I'm trying to save money to buy a new laptop. You want to take pity on my fat ass? Go over to my link to buy me a cup of Joe and donate $50 to me. Donate 500 so I can go buy a fucking laptop that's better than the one I got. Because this one here is starting to have issues with it. And how long it'll go, I don't know. Still, right? You're going to have this damn civil war. Over what? And over ideology at that. And then these ass clowns who are in charge, they just run ramshot. So yes, get rid of Medicare, replace it with universal health care. Everybody benefits. Rich, poor, everybody. But people with more money would have access to more treatment programs because you could afford to pay for elective surgeries. You could afford to pay for corrective surgeries. You could afford to pay for experimental shit that the average Joe people wouldn't get because universal health care does have to have a cap at some point. I hate to be brutal about that, but you know what? At some point, you're just keeping, we're spending millions of dollars to keep somebody alive for a few extra months. It would be harsh for the individual and their family, I get it, but that's also a cold reality. That's a conservative liberal right there, my friend. So, how do you get rid of Social Security? Oh, that universal basic income. Every American, because we're such a wealthy country, that's such a shining example on the hill for the rest of the world to admire. And why shouldn't our people live that kind of a lifestyle too? So, here you wealthy fucks and your 40% damn corporate profits when everybody's screaming about how much everything, all the price of everything just keeps jacking up and going up and your profits just keep going up and going up too. Not hard. Not hard to see that, fuck asses. Can't you not see that shit? Can you not see what I see there? Can you not see the stupid, the hypocrisy all across the board and how the average American is taking it in the ass? Hardworking Americans are getting screwed every day in this country by everybody because it's a given now, and we've just kind of given up on it. Well, guess what? It's not going to last. Sooner or later, it all comes crashing to an end, and then something drastic has to change. At the end of the day, perhaps the Civil War still could happen. The question would be is who would come out on top and who would be better off, because I'm pretty confident from my view of things, the current crop of people running the corporate entities and the Republican Party, we have no fucking clue as to what to do other than to screw you over even more. You would become slaves. You would become serfs in their new world, because that's what they're aiming for. When you listen to some of them talk about how they talk about labor, labor should be grateful to have a job, or maybe we should move their jobs further south, then they can beg to get their job back, and we need to create some certain level of pain. It has to have a certain, the working class in America has to have a certain level of desperation to give them incentive to come work at our shitholes and get paid for crap. Oh, and we want you to buy our products too while you're at it. So we're not going to pay you. You know what? Henry Ford wanted to make damn sure that people working for him could afford to buy the damn product he was producing. I'm just asking the question and saying the obvious, and that's a true fact there too. So the Civil War, it's not going to happen. Not likely to happen. Most certainly wouldn't happen under the conditions that the current political Republican MAGA crowd would love to see it happen at. Not going to happen that way. And truth is, I don't see it ever happening other than a social civil collapse could happen. I mean, you can literally bankrupt you can turn enough Americans are going to turn that corner of being on the poverty end of shit that our country is going to fail. Because you can't have everybody poor. And that percentage of haves has shrinked and keeps shrinking from two angles. We're being attacked by stagnant wages and stagnant benefit programs and fully intentional people pushing to eliminate or decrease the existing employment and benefits that we have, and rising costs. So when your money stays the same and the price grows up, you can only buy so much. Your money only goes, you can buy less. I will never be able to afford a new car unless something drastically changes in my life. At 57 years old, the odds of me getting a job that's going to pay $50 an hour are not likely to happen. And unless I win the lottery, never going to happen, right? So I have to be content with what I can do with what I have. Meanwhile, I see the sides from both angles, and a lot of people are frustrated and angry. And the irony is, to me, is that so many people are angry and frustrated about the same fucking things. We may choose to word them just a hair differently, so our understanding is a little bit different. But at the end of the day, we're concerned about a lot of the same shit. And the fact that so many people that are fighting the system to improve things would benefit from those improvements it boggles my brain, and it just further and reinforces just how messed up the media system has gotten in our country. If we have a civil war, it'll be because the media sets it off, not because of some individual. Trump came close, but it wasn't Trump that got those people to Washington. It wasn't Trump that got those people fired up. It was to get them in front of Trump. That was Fox News and a bunch of other, erstwhile program and fine, upstanding individuals and programming for the betterment of humanity and mankind everywhere. As long as you're white and middle-aged and have money somewhere in there. If you have money, we'll let you be, if you got money, you can be a woman or you can be a person of color, and we'll be more accepting of you, as long as you follow, the money style, the money path for the rest of us. So yeah, civil war my ass. That's not going to happen. And if it did, if we were to do this, it would have to be extremely brief, because you're not going to see a repeat of the actual Civil War. We're not going to have 4 years of people skirmishing back and forth across a couple states. No, we'll have acts of terrorism all over the damn state and petty shit popping up here and there, and we'll either be further emboldened by the fact the U.S. military either purposely stays out of it or is paralyzed by the command and control structure who doesn't know which direction to turn. And in a situation like a Civil War, it's best for the U.S. military to stay neutral at that point. Defend the country borders from outside threats, and step back and let the political side of the country figure itself out on its own. And make damn sure that none of the military's weapons fall into either side's hands. Right? Really? Civil War. You fuck asses. And Marjorie, you really don't understand. It's like a revolution. If a real revolution came, people like you'd be put up against the wall and shot. It's the truth. A lot of that stuff you're advocating for, and that world view that you're pushing, that sick red pill that you're trying to ram down people's throats for their own good, it's gonna kill you in the long run. How's that a good thing? You're not gonna ever, no offense, Green. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Till next time, you guys have yourself some kind of weekend, right? Mine's almost over and I gotta work tonight.